Star Wars Outlaws is a game that certainly has the weight of expectation behind it. The first truly open-world, single-player Star Wars game, it's been shorn of the Skywalkers and the Palpatines, and is instead being tasked with giving us a story that focuses on the criminal underworld of the galaxy that is far, far away. We didn't even see a single lightsaber during our 4 hours of the game, and it's much more interesting to discover what this game is rather than what it isn't. Star Wars Outlaws is set after Empire Strikes Back, which, as pretty much everybody accepts and acknowledges, is peak Star Wars. The Empire still has a Force stranglehold on the galaxy, but in between the cracks there are criminal syndicates that are rising up to have their own little pockets of power. Our hero, Kay Vess, and her adorable companion Nix dream of a life of freedom instead of this, and they're convinced into taking part in a heist. It does not go well. We hopped in early to Kay's story where she's just crashed a very important and very rare spaceship that she has, let's just say, acquired. You're on the planet of Tashara here, an all-new creation that has been designed collaboratively between Massive and Lucasfilm, so it's canon, but a new canon. Mirogana City is the capital of this attractive Mediterranean-style landscape, and it's where you'll run into Gorak, who is a Pike underboss. At the start of our demo, we meet Wacker, a worryingly helpful Rhodian, who offers to fix up your newly trashed ship and sends us out to get parts from Mirogana City, which is a hub for the 3 major crime syndicates who've set up shop on this planet. There is also the Empire knocking around as well, and given that this is when they're at the height of their power, it's probably best to avoid them, at least for now. Mirogana City is a classic Star Wars dive of a place, a city built beneath and within a mountain, leaving only the peak of this natural formation and the core of the mountain to keep it held up. Beneath it is a grimy, deeply insalubrious place, filled with unsavoury characters, and just as George Lucas intended, it feels realistic and lived in. You'll believe that you could turn a corner and run into Han Solo, and perhaps you will as you take on tasks from Jabba the Hutt, and that's about as good as it could get. Your first task is to make your way into Gorak's antechamber, and while there appear to be different ways you could do this in the main game, from buying your way in with a broker to bribing a technician to let you through an access hatch, here we snuck our way in utilising our data spike. That data spike, like pretty much every good unlocking device, utilises a minigame to get the doors open, with you having to listen to the rhythmic audio pattern and press the trigger in sync with it. If your rhythm is somewhat lacking, then there is at least a visual overlay that you can add to help you out. It isn't the cleanest of mechanisms, and 4 hours in we were still struggling to nail the timing, but it made it all the sweeter when we did get it right. And along with unlocking things that shouldn't be unlocked, she can also slice data from computers, with another minigame that lets you feel fairly clever about yourself by choosing the correct combination of glyphs, or numbers if you prefer. Kay also boasts a grappling hook for, well, grappling onto things, and a blaster for, well, blasting things. The blaster has got multiple modes here, with our demo allowing us to access both a destructive blaster and one that's capable of stunning enemies. Nix, who is our constant companion, also offers some useful skills that every slightly shady bounty hunter would find useful, being capable of distracting or attacking guards, or accessing switches and devices that are out of your reach. With a focus on lawlessness, reputation looks to be everything, whether it's the Pikes, Crimson Dawn, the Ashiga clan, or the Hutt cartel you choose to work for, you're going to have to balance out the jobs that you do and the way that you do them. It's fair to say that Outlaws will see you regularly switching sides or angering one another, and Kay has the Han Solo-esque moxie to get away with it. Or maybe end up in Carbonite, it's pretty hard to tell right now. It's not just the syndicates either, and the jobs that they'll hand out to you, because your reputation plays into how everybody else perceives you, including the different merchants that you'll find in the world. Depending on their affiliation, you might get a better price if you're on the up with their chosen group, or they might try to fleece you if you're on the wrong side of things. But it's the money that does the talking, and if you sell them the right things, you just might improve how they think about you either way. There's so much to get involved in here, from the steadily growing number of places that you can visit, areas to explore on the map, and then a host of different systems and bits of equipment to upgrade, including your ship. Once you've managed to repair the Trailblazer, you can shoot off into space, leaving the atmosphere and engaging in some space combat. This is certainly a nippy enough ship, but there's a lock on here that makes shooting down TIE fighters feel a little bit too easy, we'll be honest. Hopefully that is something that can be tweaked before release, or maybe there's some kind of difficulty levels that we can step up on that side of things. For the final chunk of time that we had with Star Wars Outlaws, we got to hop a little way forward in the story and a little bit further into that far, far away galaxy to arrive at Kijimi in search of a safecracker. For anyone that's seen The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, some of this may be sounding mildly familiar, but this is safes and not code, so it's very, very different of course. Similarities to the films aside, visiting a location that we've seen on celluloid just cements this game's place in the wider Star Wars universe, and it also ties to the criminal underworld and shady dealings that we've seen in The Mandalorian and Andor as well. Arguably, those TV series have been the more interesting things out of Disney's fairly scattershot approach to Star Wars, so that's a pretty good thing in our books. Star Wars Outlaws certainly pulls together a host of different inspirations when it comes to gameplay, with aspects of Ubisoft's own Assassin's Creed series nuzzling up to some Uncharted-style exploration and gunplay. These elements don't feel detached though, and I'm totally sold on Kay Vess as a central character, her array of roguish skills, and the way that the Star Wars universe is being brought to our screens by the team at Massive Entertainment and across the rest of Ubisoft. If you're a Star Wars fan, Outlaws feels like it's going to be the perfect video game representation of the seedier side of the world that we found in Andor and The Mandalorian, and it continues to sow the idea that maybe, just maybe, we don't really need lightsabers after all. That's all that we've got for our preview of Star Wars Outlaws today. The game is out in literally 1 month on the 30th of August, and we will certainly be trying to return with a review at that time. Hopefully you've enjoyed what you've seen now though, and if you have done so, make sure to like, subscribe, do all of the usual YouTube things, and hopefully we will see you again soon. Goodbye!
Gorek's favorite spotchka recipes. Did I pass your client's test?
Why don't you ask her yourself? Meet Valera of Crimson Dawn.
You the one I was talking to before?
You pulled it off. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. I heard you stole something much bigger than this. A ship. Someone's favorite ship.